Hello and welcome to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley's program for this week. My name is Mitty Chang. I'm the president for this Rotary Club. Every week we bring to you a new program about technology, education, innovation, and humanitarian service. I'm excited this week to have a new program by our guest speaker. And our guest speaker will actually be introduced by one of our board members, Sviako. Sviako, wave hi to everyone. Sviako is to my left. He is one of our resident traveling members. He has spent the better part of last year in Africa, first in Kenya, and then Zimbabwe, and then in South Africa. He is currently, as of this recording, in Chicago, back in the United States with his family right now. But I believe he plans on returning to Africa in the near future. So we are lucky to have him in a time zone closer to us, but we are also very excited to have him bring to us our guest speaker for this week. Sviako, if you could please introduce Nelson to us, please.
Thanks, Mitty. Hi, everyone. I'd like to introduce to you Nelson Kwaje. I met Nelson last year in Nairobi, Kenya. He's the founder of a web design company called Web for All. They provide all sorts of innovative online solutions. He is also quite the risk taker. He enjoys new challenges, and he spends about half of his time leading an initiative called Design2Transform, which he's going to tell us more about today. And this is actually the initiative through which I met Nelson last year. So Nelson, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us, and please take it away.
Okay. Thanks, Sviako, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Nelson Kwaje, as Sviako has said. I lead a Web for All, a web design company based in Nairobi, and I also lead Design2Transform, an initiative which we have started last year in January. So I'll just set myself and go into my presentation. So I'm going to talk about tech helping community, and it's an African perspective. At the beginning, I'm going to give a general overview of the progress that has been made in the continent over the past 5 years as far as technology, innovation, and education is concerned. Then I'm going to talk about Design2Transform and how we were able to help communities in the past 1 year. Let me just load my presentation, and then I'll go to it. Okay, good. So I'm going to talk about Design2Transform, which is the initiative that we have been working on over the past 1 year. And our aim is to try to spread technology and innovation and help communities in Kenya and also in Africa. Just quick look, I want to just give an overview of the progress that has been made in the continent over the past 5 years. On the left-hand side of the screen, on my left-hand side of the screen, you can see the logos of the iHub, which is the innovation hub based in Nairobi. It was founded in 2010 by a group of technology enthusiasts and innovation-minded Africans who wanted to, who are gathering together to create things, but they wanted to have a space for them to create interesting tech innovations, and also gather a community of developers and entrepreneurs together. Over the past 5 years, or 5 or 6 years, Innovation Hub has spread throughout the continent. You can see the map on my right includes about, I think, over 20 or so innovation hubs. These are all over Africa. We looked at Egypt, South Africa, Botswana, and Nigeria, and all the rest. We have innovation hubs all over Africa. And interesting stuff have been developed in these innovation hubs. And the logo just under iHub's logo, it's called AfriLabs. So AfriLabs is the organization that came after the iHub now. This group of Innovation Hub decided to put an organization that will gather all of them together so that they can share knowledge, do trainings, and also try to expand these models of tech innovations as a means of helping the economy and also teaching the young people. And also as far as education and technology is concerned, the last logo is for Andela. Most of the listeners in the US or in the West will probably know Andela. It's a company that Mark Zuckerberg has invested in recently. And he came up to Africa to visit Andela. Andela is one of the leading schools for technology and innovation. And it brings young African developers from all over the continent. They get trained, and also they now get jobs with companies in the US, companies like IBM, Microsoft, and the rest. So the continent has progressed a lot as far as technology, innovation, and education is concerned in the past 6 or 7 years. Now I'll go to my next slide, but prior to that, the problem that we want to tackle with Design2Transform, we realize that as much as there is a progress in all these countries, these tech innovations kind of bring a certain group of people in one place, and the technology is only concentrated in the cities and in areas where people have access to internet, power, and also where people can meet guys from outside. But there is no diverse participation. The benefits of technologies were not being experienced by everyone in the continent. And within countries and between countries, there is a very huge disparity. You don't have to go far to realize that people actually don't understand what is Internet of Things, what is web development, what is online visibility, and all these aspects of technology. So my team and I were part of the iHub, and we thought of how can we use technology to reach out to people who don't have access to such opportunities. And that's why the idea of Design2Transform came. So with Design2Transform, the idea is like people with technological skills and know how to use technology. We can go to communities and try to help. Basically, in the beginning, we started by helping community-based organizations who don't have access to the internet and who cannot voice the work that they're doing. So what we did, we worked with community-based organizations. We identified several organizations, and we formed links with them and partnerships in order to design for them websites. Just basically get them get for them an online presence. That was in January last year, and we went outside to the outskirts of Nairobi. We met with these founders of these organizations, and we exchanged information. That was the basic thing. We asked them, we identified the needs. What kind of is the help do you want us to provide so that you can progress with whatever work you're doing? Like for example, we worked with UNESCO in South Sudan. They wanted to create a platform for peace building among the youth. That was a need that's specific to that location. In Nairobi, most of the organizations wanted to share the kind of information that they're doing so that they can get donors. So the outcomes of these is some organizations will prefer trainings. They have youth that they want to be trained. So after sharing information, we come up, if the organizations need training, we come up with training objectives, we develop a curriculum for them. And there is a very interesting thing about developing a curriculum. And I usually tell my team that we cannot industrialize solutions without looking at context and relevance. So we make sure that we develop, every time we go into a community that need training, we make sure that we custom design that curriculum to fit into their context. Because the knowledge gap is not the same as, it's not you're gathering people who went to the same high school or who had undergone a certain training prior to this. So you have a diverse group of individuals. So we make sure that we custom design the curriculum. And when it comes to the websites, for example, that we worked on, we usually send people with questionnaires and we ask them to just sit with organizations, look at the work that they're doing, and try to come up with some, ask them questions like, what is your mission? What is your vision? Like here, this is one website we designed for a community-based organizations called Karinda Child Lab. They deal with, they take care of orphans. It's an orphanage. They take care of orphans and a lot of kids there. So we try to take this information and place it on the website and make a very clear call to actions. We designed for them a logo, give them a professional look so that they can connect with donors and also show people the kind of work that they're doing. Most organizations, these are some of the needs that they have. They need branding, they need social media presence, they need they need to contact people from outside, and probably logo and also branding kit. So we try to give them a professional look. So in this journey, we have a very team of volunteers who work with us. So when we started, we did not have any cash actually. We had to borrow some money to organize our first hackathon, which is the event where we brought people together to help these organizations. And we had a lot of volunteers. So what we did, we got sponsors to work with us to cover the cost. And we are able to subsidize the cost and also share expertise with other people. And in case we had a need for travel, these sponsors actually catered for the travel, paid the cost of travel for the whole team. So here you have it. You have high-end team. We have partners who need training, for example, in Mombasa. So if you're a small organizations, a group of 3 people, getting highly professional trainers to deliver training, it's a bit tough. So what we did, we sent a call, we sent a request for people to come to our team, usually around the iHub committee, and we asked individuals to come and join our team and work with us. There's a catch there. You want to get a very skilled people who can deliver quality training, but also you want to get people who are committed and who will not ask you for cash because we don't have the money. So we sent a call for volunteers, and we usually give them the topics that we want to cover. And a lot of guys actually sent for us presentations of certain topics that they can cover, from web development to social media or understanding programming, for example. So after these volunteers, they send their requests, we vet them, and we ensure that they actually know what they claim to know. And then we join them to the team. And they become part of the trainers. This is our training team that went to Mombasa last year. And as you can see, I'm there, and I have about 5 other trainers with me. And in the middle, that's our host, a lady from Swahili House. Now, the kind of people who participate in our trainings are usually, as I stated earlier, they're like a diverse group of individuals. So the people who come to the trainings are usually selected by the local organization, the organization that calls us. We don't interfere with that process a lot, because we want them, they're the ones who know the groups that they're targeting, the target audience, and the need. So we have a diverse group: technical, non-technical, youth-centered, and there is usually a thematic approach to the training. So like when we were in Mombasa, they had a group of, Mombasa is a city in the coast, in the coast of Kenya. So they had a group of young ladies who wanted to learn technology. So we asked them, what kind of theme would you want to use to gather people around the training? So their theme was girls in Mombasa embracing ICT. And that's very important for you to give them the chance to pick the theme, because that one creates a lot of ownership from the local organization. And then it does not put a lot of burden on you to follow up and try to gather resources. They themselves help you. This picture was from our training in South Sudan, which was under the theme of building peace through technology. So that's all about our training. So the actual trainings are usually composed of presentations, workshop, hands-on stuff, that means demonstration and also such kind of things. And also we have collaboration by putting people into teams so that they can learn from each other. This photo is from the image on top is from our training in South Sudan, where the youth were made to design a mobile application, which delivers peace messages to the youth. And that this was in Mombasa. So the young man was doing a conceptual design of a website during the training. So that was the training bit. Now, if you want to design a website, we train guys for like 2 or 3 days. If they're like starters, they don't have a lot of experience in that. And then the way we present now, the way we bring the community-based organizations around there and deliver the websites is through a hackathon. For my audience who are not familiar with hackathons are basically intensive sessions of collaboration to complete a project in 1 or 2 days, where you bring together teams of individuals, some of them have technical skills, others from different diverse backgrounds. You put them together in groups and you give them a project that they should finish within a certain span of time. It's usually 1 day, some of it extend to 2 days. Most of our hackathons last for 1 day. Sometimes we do, so after the training or the bootcamp or a workshop, then we do the hackathon. So during these hackathons, we now give the individuals the chance now to present the kind of, to work on the projects that we give them. And most of the projects are picked from the local community. So they pick, like for example, in Mombasa, we were doing, when we were working with the girls, we bring projects from the local community, either it's on web design or programming, and we give them so that they can work on them. And we supervise that process, provide mentorship throughout the time, and ensure that by the end of the day, people have something to present. And most of the time they finish it. Let me just talk about a few of the challenges that we face before I talk about our achievement. So some of the challenges that you face if you're running around, if you're running a training in different cities or with different communities, is that you have a diversity. You have a diversity of participants, you have diversity of opinions and of everything. Diversity by itself is not a bad thing, but sometimes it can be very challenging. Yeah, like for example, even during your training, the kind of examples that you use really need to be contextualized. Even if you want to crack a joke, you need to know what your audience, will your audience laugh at the joke or will they understand it? That's on the simple level, but also on the deeper scale. Like for example, when we were going to Mombasa, we were training a group of about 30 ladies, young girls who finished high school, some of them who were fresh in university. And our team was composed of, all of us were men in the team. So you cannot go, it will not work. So we had to add more people to the team, add more female trainers to the team who are also capable of doing the training. And when we went there, we were able to deliver a good thing. And also context sometimes can be a bit challenging. Some people think if you're within Kenya or within Africa, everyone understands everything and the context is the same, but it's a bit different at times. You find that like prior to the training, you really need to send a lot of questionnaires, ask the trainees question about what kind of expectations they have, what are the things that they want to achieve, what is the mode of training that they understand best. And also group dynamic can be very challenging also. Like if you want to deliver a certain project during the hackathon in a very fast time, you really need to understand the dynamics of a group. Sometimes you put people in groups, they are not productive, you need to shift them and move around so that you can achieve the maximum impact that you want. So this is all under the challenges that we have faced. Now, how we usually end our trainings and our hackathons is through presentations. So we give the groups the chance to come and present whether the website or the app that they worked on after being trained and being mentored. And this is a presentation, like this was in Mombasa while we were in Mombasa, a group presenting a website that they worked on from the whole day. And that's the sense of satisfaction and achievement in the eyes of these guys is really very impactful. We had people who, after undergoing our training, they actually got the chance to go and apply for a job just by telling them, hey, I can design this website and I can work for you. One lady contacted me after the training, and she asked me to assess a mock-up website that she did, that she actually built for an interview, a job interview. And she got that job. So that sense of satisfaction is really an impact that you see in people's lives is what keeps us going at times. We also provide them with certificates at the end of the day, so that they can go and show their parents, or their guardians, from that, hey, I have undergone this such a training. So these are a few stats of the things that we have been doing. Like over the past 1 year, we've been able to build over 20 websites. We organized 5 trainings in different cities, 2 in Nairobi, 2 in the coastal region of Kenya, and 1 in South Sudan, which is another country. And we were able to build 1 mobile application. Just as I wrap up, I'll also share like what is next for us. So after getting this experience and understanding the dynamics of technology within Kenya and also within the region, we are now launching an academy for that, that will work on building the skills of young people in Africa, and also focus on impacting lives of local communities. So we want to have a longer engagement with the youth around Kenya and also around Africa. And that's really the most interesting thing for us is now we have the chance, we have this experience of 1 year, and you really learn a lot in 1 year. So it is now, we want to now, how can we make this model work? How can we design trainings that are contextualized and are based on the local needs, and also now deliver them to different groups around the country and also around the continent. That's much I have for about Design2Transform. I've written a comprehensive review of our work over the past 1 year, which I'll share the link later on. It will be attached to it will be in the video description. You can go and have a read. There are several reports. I might have not gone into detail to some things, but you can go and have a read for yourself. So up to here, I'll give it back to Miti so that he can take us to the Q&A session.
Wonderful. Nelson, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to our Rotary Club. We really appreciate it. It's great to hear about the work that you've been doing. It's definitely something where it's great to teach other generations and also other people about tech, and then also make them programmers, designers. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about, what was your original thought process when you first started this, and had you been to a hackathon before you started this up?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I've been to a hackathon, I think, like 3 months prior to this. It was about health, hackathon for designing programs for health. And I really enjoyed the experience. So I was like, I liked it so much, and I was like, hey, this is something that I could apply. But I've been to hackathon as a participant, but I was very observant also, looking at how these people are organizing the logistics, how they send the questionnaires, how do people sign up, screening, and all this stuff. So that was the experience. Then afterwards, I went and also read about hackathons. Googled what is a hackathon. And I got a very nice guide. There's a website called hackathon.guide. It's actually a very nice site. I advise you to check it out. So it outlines how you organize a hackathon, what is needed, how to email people, all this stuff. So I gathered all that knowledge. But what motivated me most was the need, because I go around Nairobi and I find a lot of orphanages, schools, and community-based organizations who are dealing with different challenges, but they cannot raise funds for themselves. They don't have that professional in-house skill to probably do for them a fundraiser or just do a report of what they're doing. So that was the need that I really saw, which was really touched my heart. And I said, we have a lot of developers and designers around. Why can't we gather them and do something? So that was the only experience I had. And I called my friends. I called one of my friends during his birthday and convinced him to start a WhatsApp group. And we had about 5 people. They said, "What is the subject of the group?" I told them it's called Design2Transform. And that logo, actually, my friend is the one who put it together. I think like 1 hour prior to starting that group. And that was, and that's how it started.
That's wonderful. And then, so are there other hackathons or boot camps in the areas that you've been teaching in, or are you guys the only one?
Most of the areas, like some areas, we're the only one. Like in South Sudan, I think that was the second time in 2 years, at least within that locality. While in Mombasa, there are a lot of hackathons there, actually. But what we are usually trying to bring is not only just do a hackathon, but also share a concept of how you do a hackathon in a very good way. So after reading about this like twice or thrice during the hackathon, we developed a guide for like a booklet for how you do a hackathon, organize a training. So usually when we go to a local area and we organize a hackathon, we talk with the local organizations such that they can keep up the training afterwards, and we tell them, hey, check this guide. This is how you email people before the hackathon. If you want to invite people, one day before the hackathon, tell them about the time. And when they come, make sure that you have accessible bathroom, what, and this kind of thing. So we developed a very simple guide that people can use. So even if the areas that we work with, some of the people that they have such experience before, we try to bring a sense of professionalism to that and share some of the knowledge that we have.
That's great. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about how you publicize these hackathons and boot camps that you put on. Is it through social media? Do you go around posting flyers at cafes, or how do you get participants?
So we usually get participants through social media. That's the main means of publicizing our hackathons. So we usually design a very simple poster for our events. So if we're going somewhere, we usually just we put up a poster about saying, hey, we're organizing a hackathon on such a date, and this is what will be there. You're going to learn about 1, 2, 3. And we share that knowledge with the guys around. So we mostly depend on social media and Eventbrite. Eventbrite is our main kind of publicity tool, like publicity and sign up. So once we publicize the event on social media, we put up a link to the Eventbrite page where people can now sign up and join the hackathon. So social media is our main means of publicity. We also use WhatsApp to share a link to our event and also share the poster. And a lot of guys actually share it through WhatsApp groups. Like what you see here, I don't know if you're seeing my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, that's, for example, an invitation to our hackathon. So it's saying Youth Expanding Horizons with ICT. It's a very nice design. We emphasize on our designs. We want to make them very attractive so that the young guys can come. And what you see is a landmark in the city that we're heading to. And then we put information about the venue and where to sign up, and if there are any other requirements. And also down there, you can see the logos of our partners.
That's great. So that's wonderful to hear. So I don't want to make any assumptions, but so you said social media. I noticed that screen was for Facebook. What other platforms do you guys use, if any, or is it just mostly Facebook?
So we use Facebook, Twitter, and then Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. These are the 3 main platforms. I know some of these things get shared to other platforms, but these are the main ones usually. Sometimes I manage myself.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so switching gears a little bit more to your participants. So during your hackathons, what has been the most common obstacle or most common problem that you've seen a lot of your participants face when they're coming to your hackathon? Maybe they're working on their a website or an app. What are some common struggles that you've seen?
The number one common struggle that I face with participants is people, when they come, when you put them in groups, they usually try to worry about everything at the same time. So when you start in the morning, you tell them, hey, we usually give them several tasks. You say, this is the organization. You need to design a logo. You need to work on a website. You need to work on content and structure them together. So, we usually assign team leaders to these groups. What they do in the beginning, they just start, they say, oh, logo, this is so hard, we don't know how to design logos. Let's try to figure it out. So you find 5 people worrying about how to design a logo for like 1 hour. Then they shift, they start worrying, they start now figuring out how to design a website. They spend about probably 2 hours figuring out WordPress and the rest. And that has been a very biggest obstacle. So what I do, we usually give them a very clear instruction. And that's also a general principle that I use in life. Don't worry about everything all the time. You need to segment your worries. Yes, you have to design a logo, but focus about that or segment your team. So if you have 5 people, let 2 people figure out how to design a logo. Let 1 go and get the content and write it very nice. And the 2 of you think about how to develop the website. And when you divide people in such, because you have very few people, if you divide them into different tasks, and the team leader is the one who manages all these, such that people will not get distracted. And if you don't do so, you cannot finish your website in 1 day. Building a website is a very tedious task. So that was the most common challenge that I faced with most of the participants who come into hackathons.
Got it. And then so do most of your participants, is there always someone who knows how to code in like HTML and CSS, or specifically for building websites, for example, are you guys using a platform or an app to kind of launch them into this?
So what we do usually, like in our mentors team, we have someone who is a front-end programmer, and we have a person who is very good at WordPress. And then we have a designer and a content person. So these are kind of mentors who can guide the teams. Sometimes we meet people who it's a requirement that you should have 1 programmer in your team, but it doesn't happen most of the time. So if you have prior skills of programming, and we ask you, the team, do you want to develop using probably HTML and Bootstrap? Some guys say yes, then we guide them through that process. But if you are an accountant or a student, you had no prior experience of web development, we usually advise you to use a platform like WordPress, Joomla, a CMS that is easy to learn, and we guide you through that process. The most important thing is, like, we initially used not to do a training, but now we have trainings. So we usually undergo 2 days training of programming and using WordPress. So in the 1 or 2 days training prior to the hackathon, you might not be a professional programmer, but at least you'll have a clue on the steps that you should take, and the mentors will be next to you. So that's the kind of group. But at times you just get people who have no clue what is programming and what is WordPress, and you have to lift them up. I call it necessary inconvenience.
That definitely is a good way to put it. So can you tell us what has been, personally for you, what has been your biggest struggle in putting on these events? And also, what's been your favorite part about putting on these events as well?
One of my biggest struggles was, it was funding, one of it. So the way we work is we push most of the things to the peripheries. Our local partner has responsibility over everything. So like if we're traveling from one city to another, we don't go and look for the sponsors ourselves, because we don't know who might give you cash in that city and who is interested in such activities. So what we do, we share a template with our local host and tell them, hey, this is a template of a proposal that you might give funders. Tell them this. If your funders are tech people or it's a government, use this lingo so that you can reach out to them. And tell them the impact and share this report with them. So it's really you, and as Zefko said earlier, I'm a risk taker. Sometimes we actually start this process of looking for the funds after we have announced the date for the training and people have subscribed. So here you are looking for people to fund the program, and guys have already subscribed. It's all over social media. And it is so stressful. You need to get money for snacks, food, venue, travel, and hotel for the trainers. And that has been my biggest struggle. But in a very weird way, things work out. There was a time that we were one day to the event, and we did not have cash for travel. The sponsor did not release the money for travel and for the food. And our local host was calling me. She's like, hey, the sponsor hasn't released the funds. There's a lot of bureaucracy. And what I do usually during leading such things, as I told you earlier, I segment my audience. I usually hold these things. I don't tell my team that, hey, there's no money, because everyone will panic and they'll forget their presentation and they'll start running around. So until 6 a.m. or 7, the lady called me like, they released the cash, we booked the bus for you, so you come tomorrow. So that has been my biggest struggle, yes. And remember, some of these people I've never met. They only contacted us online. So you're trusting a stranger who wants to host you in a different city, and you're trusting them to get money in good time and pay for your hotel and your accommodation. So dealing with all these uncertainties has been my biggest challenge. One of the best moments is actually when we meet with participants and they're able to achieve something in one day. We have guys who come to us and like, hey, we were able to build this, and that is just so satisfying. And also the trainers, you build very good relationships with the trainers. I met some trainers, we just brought them together in a team and sent them to the city. And two of them came back and founded a startup because they just realized that they can work together. So having that commitment and serendipity and people realizing that they can do stuff together is one of the best, most satisfying moments for me.
That's wonderful. Nelson, we're just about to wrap up, and I'll turn it over to you for the last words. But I just want to thank our viewers who will be watching this recording. To thank you guys for visiting us this week, and we hope that you guys enjoyed the program. There will be links to Nelson's programs right below this video. So we'll make sure that we get those links placed down there, including the links to the social medias in case you want to follow their hackathons and boot camps. If you haven't had a chance yet, please make sure to also leave a comment at the bottom of this page. Nelson, we're going to turn over to you for some closing comments.
Yeah, some closing comments. I thank you so much, Miti, for this chance. My closing comments is like, what we have is, like, usually I meet guys who tell me, hey, are you competing with these guys who are doing the same? I said, no. This market and the need is so huge to be swallowed by one player, by two, or even by 100. So we really need to amplify impact, especially in this continent. And I want to make a call also to guys who are in the valley. I know you guys are very skilled, and a lot of you come to Kenya for safari or what. I would really be interested if some of you guys pass by here and you can come and train some of our people in our hackathons. I want us to have such such a skill actually come and enjoy working with us. Ziavko is a very good friend. Actually, we met during one of our events. I took him to a very not posh side of Nairobi to visit one of the organizations we work with. And he was really able to connect with the kids. So I'd really be interested to have guys from the valley who come here to Nairobi for a safari or during your break or what. You can come and join us and probably teach some young people some of the skills that you have, whether you're a photojournalist or you're a content writer or whatever skills you have, it can be very beneficial. And you never know the kind of impact and the knowledge sharing you have with individuals will have a lasting impact. Who knows, maybe the next Airbnb or Uber or WhatsApp might come from here. Yeah, thanks for that.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Nelson. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.